Welcome to the training session 2. So in the last class, just to recap what we covered in the last class. So we started with basics of SAP HANA. So here we discussed what is SAP HANA, what are the complexities of today's system, what are the challenges of today's company. So how to overcome this, and how SAP HANA fits in this scenario. Okay. We also looked at positioning of SAP HANA, right? So how does it fit in this particular scenario of big data? What are the features of SAP HANA that helps in processing big data, real-time access, right? High compression ratio, hardware and software enhancements, hardware and software innovations, which results in processing of big data. What is big data? We looked at all these concepts, right? We also looked at packages, HANA packages. So what are the packages in which HANA is available? What are the options when a client wants to go for HANA implementation? What are the packages that are available, right? So these are some of the topics that we covered in our previous session. So today is our second class, and I'm going to start with a new concept for you guys. The first concept I'm going to start with is SAP HANA Studio. Okay, what is SAP HANA Studio? Why do we need it? How do we use it? So these are the topics that I'm going to start with today. Okay, the second thing that I'm going to start with is HANA architecture. So SAP HANA architecture is very important. You guys have to understand this so that you can use this architecture and do the perform the development and all the activities in HANA. Okay, SAP HANA, understanding of SAP HANA architecture is very important. Okay, SAP HANA architecture is one of the topics where you'll get maximum number of questions. At the end of these sessions, towards the end of the class, I'm going to give you a breakup of which topic you get questions from for the certification point of view. Okay, SAP HANA architecture is very important from certification point of view as well. So you please concentrate on this class. SAP HANA Studio is also important. There will be few questions on the SAP HANA Studio part. So I will, as and when I go through the topic, I will let you know. Like, you can take down some notes about what are the important questions, what are the kind of questions that you can expect from SAP HANA Studio. Okay, all right. Before I go into start the topic of SAP HANA Studio, I want to tell you. So the SAP HANA scenario, in the sense, in a company when there are implementing SAP HANA, what are the roles that are available, that will be made available in the system? Okay, so I have explained you in the previous class. SAP HANA is IMCE component. What does IMCE mean? In memory computing engine. Excuse me for a moment, guys. So IMCE means in-memory computing engine. So SAP HANA is IMCE. That means to say the processing of data happens in memory, right? So there are different roles that will be available in the project. What are those roles? Okay, first one is HANA administrators. Okay, so that is administration or administrator. So basically this role, the people in this role are responsible for administration of SAP HANA system. Okay, and then the next one is HANA modelers. Okay, so these are the people who are going to model information views, like information models, what we call models. Okay, so these are the people who are going to develop the models in SAP HANA Studio. Okay, and then HANA developers, right? And the last but not the least, business users. HANA business users. So these are different type of roles or different type of users who will be connected to SAP HANA system. Okay, so there is a SAP HANA in-memory computing engine, and there are SAP administrators, SAP modeler, HANA modelers, HANA developers, and HANA business users. How do they connect to the system, right? So there has to be a way these users connect to SAP HANA system to do their corresponding roles, right? So that particular tool used to perform their activities is called SAP HANA Studio. So SAP HANA Studio is nothing but a tool that is used by all these users to perform their activities. So all the activities, including the administration, modeling, development, and business users, like consumption of data, right? So all these things are performed using SAP HANA Studio. Okay, so if you see here, this particular slide gives you an example: information modeler, database development and data provisioning. I'll explain what is data provisioning in the future classes. Administration, monitoring and security, application developers, and end user. All these users have to use HANA Studio. Like they use HANA Studio to access SAP HANA database, AMC database. Okay, so what is SAP HANA Studio? SAP HANA Studio is nothing but it is a Java Eclipse platform based Java tool. So it is a Java tool. It is developed in Java. It's a Java tool. It is Eclipse platform based. Okay, so it is a Java tool, Eclipse platform based, which is used to connect to the SAP HANA IMC database. Okay, so using SAP HANA Studio, we can perform all the activities like administration, modeling, development, and information consumption by business users. Okay, so that is what SAP HANA Studio is. Okay, so I will show you what exactly SAP HANA Studio right now, but you should understand what is SAP HANA Studio and what are the roles, who are the users who are going to use SAP HANA Studio and what purpose. Okay, so Eclipse Integrated Development Environment IDE based tool, which is used for, as I said, which is used for multi-purposes: administration, modeling, development, information consumption by business users. Okay, so it is a Eclipse platform based tool. So this is the SAP HANA Studio overview page, welcome page, what we call as welcome page. So this is not the default page. So the question in the certification could be, what is the default view of SAP HANA Studio? Okay, I'm going to come to that, but still I'm just telling you this is not the default view, or this is not the first page that you come across when you log on to SAP HANA Studio. Okay, so if you go to help and then welcome, that's when you're going to see this SAP HANA overview page or the welcome page. Here you can see administration console, open modeler, open development, open lifecycle management. We are going to go in detail about all these components or all these perspectives, what we call in SAP HANA Studio. But right now this is the welcome page. Okay, So this is nothing but welcome overview page or the welcome on the welcome page. The next thing, look and feel, administrator view. Okay, so in HANA we have a concept of perspective. Okay, so if you go to window, open perspective, other, this shows you different perspectives that are available. Okay, so what is a perspective? Perspective is nothing but a view. Okay, don't get confused by the terminologies, because different tools call different cool tools that we have used so far call different different activities by different names. Okay, so when I say perspective, this means view. Okay, perspective and view are one and the same. In SAP HANA, we call a view as a perspective. Okay, so these are the perspectives that are there in SAP HANA Studio. Okay, so for example, there are some of those default perspectives that are available over here: HANA Administration Console and SAP HANA Modeler. Okay, this is Administration Console and this is Modeling perspective. Okay, so there are different perspectives in SAP HANA. Okay, so whatever you see here on the left hand side is called navigator view. If you see here, this is called navigator view. Okay, so in the administration perspective, you will be able to do tasks that are system administration related. Okay, in the modeler perspective, you can do data modeling. See here, you can see that attribute view, analytic view, calculation view. We will get to details of what are these views and how to create them and what are the users, when do we use them. So all these things will come into detail. We'll cover them in detail in the future classes, but right now I'm just giving you an idea of what is modeler perspective. So if you go to administration console or administrative perspective, this is where you can do lots of system administration. See all these things here: import, export, migrate. These are all some of the system administration perspective, administration activities. So let's assume, so the HANA Studio can connect to multiple HANA systems. Okay, right now there's only one system that is connected, which we call HDB. Okay, it is HANA SAP HANA 1.0 SP6 system. So if there are multiple systems, then you have to select one particular system to manage that particular system. So if you want to change, if there are multiple systems, you'll see multiple instances or multiple systems here, and you select that particular system to administer that particular HANA instance or HANA system. Okay, so this is nothing but these are perspectives. Okay, so this is the navigator view. I will show you here. This is the navigator view. Here you see catalog, content. I'll explain you in detail what is catalog, what is content, what is provisioning, what is security, and all these but individual tabs, folders here. But right now you understand that navigator view is used for navigation purposes. Okay, so if you have to go to a particular schema, you have to go into catalog. If you have to go into a particular package, then you have to go into content, right? So that means to say your navigation into an SAP HANA system starts from here. So this is called navigator view. Okay, so as you see here, this is the navigator view, and then here adding system folders, like this is cheat sheets. Cheat sheets, they are not used so extensively, but still you can add and delete whatever the small windows that you see here in this presentation. So you can add and delete them. Okay, So this is the main important part of the SAP HANA Studio, which is nothing but the navigator view. Okay. So as I said, if you see in this screenshot, there are multiple instances of SAP HANA. Say for example, you see here SAP HANA HDB system name, which is generally 3 characters in length, which is always 3 characters in length, and within braces you see a username. Okay, this instance of SAP HANA is created by a user called system. Okay, if there is a user1 by name user1, if I create an instance, then it will show user1 in braces. Alright, so the system is always associated with the user who created that particular instance. Okay, excuse me guys, sorry about that. So system is always associated with a particular user who created that particular instance. Okay, so that is what this particular slide says. So HANA instance and the user, that constitutes the system. Okay, so user database schema, all the tables, okay, all the tables like whatever mentioned here, like the views, procedures, tables and views. Okay, column views, procedures, tables and views, they are stored under what is called schema. Schema is nothing but a grouping of column views, procedures, tables and views. Okay, so in every, for example, this instance is created by system, right, but there could be multiple users. You understand? There could be multiple users who are accessing this particular instance of SAP HANA. Sorry guys, I'm not feeling that well, so I'm coughing, so I'm muting myself whenever I'm coughing. Sorry about that. Okay, please bear with me. So this schema is nothing but it's a grouping of column views, procedures, tables and views. Okay, there is going to be one schema created for every user who is accessing this particular instance, SAP HANA instance. So if I have 10 users, you can see 10 schemas. You can create schemas even without users, but for every user that is created in the system, there will be one schema. Okay, a user cannot be created without a schema. You get that point? Okay. Yeah, what is the question there? Okay, so the question is, how do you create the users? Okay, you have to bear with me. Right now, I'm just giving you an overview of this particular tool, the SAP HANA Studio. So here you just understand that there will be users, how to create users, how to create schema. All these things will be discussed in details in future. Okay, so for the time being, you just understand that there will be users and there will be schemas, and yeah, that's all you want to grasp from this screenshot or from this particular slide. How to create users, we'll get to that in detail. Okay, bear with us. All right, so that's the if I expand catalog here, you see this is a user, this is a user, this is a test system guys, this is a standalone sandbox system, so you will see lots of users. So there is a user, like if you see here, this is system user and there is a schema for system. Okay, if I expand this, then I see column views, functions, indexes, procedures, sequences, synonyms, tables and figures and views. Okay, these are all accumulated in a schema for that particular user. Okay, say for example, if I go to tables, these are some of the tables that have been created under system schema. How the tables are created, we are going to cover in future, but for the timing you should know that these tables, whatever we replicate from SAP ECC system or any other system. Like let's say you are implementing SAP HANA and you are getting data from SAP ECC system for, like, let's say KNA1 customer master data, right? KNA1 table, you can replicate it. You can get the data from a KNA1 table by using several methods like business objects or SLTs. Okay, different data provisioning techniques, but the data from those tables from ECC will come and sit here. Okay, which schema they will come and sit under, how, and all those things we'll discuss later, but those tables, the data itself will sit here in SAP HANA. Okay, so that's about like the system. Okay, the navigator window. This slide gives you what system monitor looks like. Okay, excuse me folks. Okay, so this is nothing but system monitor. This system monitor you can see in the SAP HANA administration perspective, and you double click on the system. That's when you're going to see this particular system monitor. System monitor has been included as a part of administration view or administration perspective. Okay, so what is this going to give you? What is this system monitor going to give you? So this system monitor is going to give you the operational status of this particular SAP HANA instance. Okay, so it says all the services have started. What is the usage of memory? What is the peak use memory or allocation? All right. What are the disk usages? Are we using disks? Yes, we are using disks. Why and how? We will get to that after a few more classes. Okay. Probably today itself, when I start architecture, you will get to know where we use the disks and all the things, log volumes, trace volumes, and all those things. You will know when I start the architecture class, architecture part. Okay. If you go to the landscape, you will see index server, name server, preprocessor, right? Statistical server, access engine. So what are all these? These are different components of SAP HANA IMCE database. Okay. So what are these? We are going to go in detail when I discuss the architecture. You don't have to worry about it right now, but I'm just showing you what are the possible tabs. What are the tabs that are available for you in the system monitor? Alerts. If there is any high alert, like for example, volume 3, there is a high alert here. So whoever is a system administrator will look at this. Oh, there is a high alert, and we have to act on this high alert immediately. Okay. So those are alerts. Performance of different servers. So how are these index servers? How is this particular index server performing? Right. So all these things are available here. The information about the volumes itself, configuration, system information, diagnosis files, trace configuration. So all these things are available in system monitor. Okay. Right. So if you close this, you go back to the previous perspective. Okay. So that's about system monitor. Right. So this is the navigator view. This is the administration view. Administration view, I showed you administration perspective, where we see overview and landscape and different tabs in this particular administration view. Properties view. I don't know if you observe here, there is a properties view. Okay. What does this do? So let's say if I go to this particular catalog, system catalog, system schema, and then I go to the student table. Okay. So this particular property, if I click on here, right? So this gives me the property. There's some error here, so I don't know. I'll request our system admin to take a look at that issue. So, but what generally happens is, if you click on that particular, element, whatever the element it is, the property of that particular element shows up in this particular window, in this part of the window. Okay. That's what the property is used for. Okay, property view. Okay, and then this particular slide shows how to switch from one perspective to the other perspective. Okay, so here I'll close this. I go to this window, open perspective, other. So here, this is where you can switch from one perspective to the other perspective. Okay, whatever is displayed here are couple. I mean, they are not a lot of them. They are like generally SAP HANA model perspective and administration perspective. These are the ones that are here. Okay, but if you want to switch to, let's say, life cycle management, okay, it's here, but still, if you want to go to debug perspective, you have to go to the debug perspective from here. That's how you switch from one perspective to the other perspective, which is not available in the quick launcher. This is called quick launcher. So this is not available here. Then you have to go to then you have to access that perspective from here. Windows, open perspective, other. Okay, and there's a trick here. Windows, reset perspective. So you can customize. Okay, I want to see this perspective. I want to do that perspective. I want to go to administration perspective. So when you click on this, okay, here you see, do you want to reset the current SAP HANA administration console perspective to its defaults? Say yes. So everything is reset to default view. Default view is the view which SAP HANA Studio shows you the very first time you log in. Okay, so the trick is, no matter where you have, whatever the perspective you have opened, reset perspective will reset the entire perspective back to the initial view. Okay, so modular perspective, as I showed you before, I go to the modular perspective. For some reason the system is hung. I'll show you here. It's okay, came back. So in the modular perspective, you can create attribute views, analytical views, calculation views, and if you go back to the whatever the objects that you create in the modular perspective, they sit under content. So these are views, as you see, attribute view, analytical view, calculation view. So these views, right, they sit under content. They are organized in a package. We will see what are packages, like this package, how to create a package, how to organize, all these things we will see in future. But that's how that's a modular perspective. Okay. So here see, models are organized in packages. I showed you this packages. So packages are like, if you are familiar with SAP BW or SAP, any SAP module, then you will understand what is package. Package is nothing but, for example, in SAP BW, it's a development class. Okay, so when you develop or when you enhance something in SAP BW, you assign the changes to a development class. Just like that, development class in SAP BW is a way of organizing the contents. In the same way, package is nothing but a way of organizing the contents. Okay, so models are organized in packages, attribute views, analytical views, calculation views, privileges, and procedures. These are stored under package. Right. So now you understand what is a system, like what shows up on the catalog and what shows up on the content. How to create them, we will go in future. Okay. So views. So perspectives, they are called views. Okay, these are different perspectives. The aggregate view, the administration view, the properties view, job log. When you run a job, you will see this job log view. Okay, cheat sheet. Okay, so all these things are different views. Okay, so now if you have any questions on this, so we will share these slides with you, we will share these documents with you. So this should give you an idea of reading method, reading content for SAP HANA Studio. Okay, this this particular document has a lot more than what you want, what you need. Okay, but still we will share this with you, and you can go through them, and you can come back to me with any questions. This shows, you know, the how modeling is done. Modeling a scenario is done. Like this is, for example, he's creating a view here. Okay, so how to create a view? Creating a view, we use SAP HANA Studio modeler perspective. Okay, so any questions on this particular topic so far? Okay, this is the time for you to ask for any questions. Okay.